Welcome back to Dad's Egg Strategy. In a previous video, Shaston showed us how to make a delicious meal of fried fish and salad. And in this video, we're going to talk about how we found that entire meal at a park. Let's jump right in. Good jumping. So the trip started out with us wanting some cattails so that we could try some weaving. We went to a place where I used to go fishing occasionally because I knew that there I would be able to find some cattails and some reeds. After I found them, I decided it would be a good idea to spend some time looking at the other plants in the area before I started fishing. My original intention was to spend most of my time fishing there, but we got there and there were a bunch of plants there that I didn't recognize, and I decided that I needed to take some time to look into them. As soon as we pulled into the parking lot, I could already see the cattails from the truck. Mission accomplished, right? No. As soon as I stepped out of the truck, I was immediately distracted by everything I was seeing. Some stuff familiar, some stuff not familiar. So I whip out my phone, open up my plant ID app, and I get to work. Some of the plants I was getting inconsistent reading on. With others, I was able to get a positive ID using more than one resource, guys. I knew they were edible, so I took them home and I did some more research, which I will get into in a moment. So the first thing I came upon was the Rocky Mountain juniper. And this one I know you can eat. It has blueberries on it that can be ground up and used as a spice, usually as a replacement for sage in cooking. It's got a pretty strong flavor that alone I'm not really a big fan of. The berries are not meant to be eaten alone. In fact, they're not even really berries. They're actually a type of pine cone due to a chemical called thujone that's in all juniper berries. It's best to eat these in moderation. In some species, the levels of thujone are so high that the berries are considered toxic and therefore inedible. If the flavor of these berries seems familiar, you may be a dirty drunk or just a fan of gin. They're the main flavoring agent used to make gin, and historically they've been used in sourdough starters as a source of yeast. Medicinally, they've been used as an anti-inflammatory. They can be made into a tea as a cold and flu remedy. They're a natural diuretic, and studies have shown them to have antiviral properties. I found two other trees that had berries on them. One was a type of sumac that I was unable to get a positive ID on. It had clusters of red fuzzy berries, and another one had berries that looked very similar to cherries. But because I wasn't able to get a positive ID on either of them, I ended up just leaving them alone. Next, I came across a small patch of common yarrow. It's a really interesting plant that has a long history and a multitude of uses. It can be used to make tea. It's a natural diuretic and has antimicrobial properties, and in the past has been used as a poultice applied directly to skin or wounds. So you should be aware that common yarrow does have a poison lookalike, and it is poison hemlock. The flowers look similar. I did come across some poison hemlock at the park that I was foraging at. I felt the leaves were different enough that it was pretty easy to tell a difference. Neither of them had flowers at the time. They both have kind of like a white umbrella-shaped cluster of flowers. Just know what you're eating. If you accidentally eat poison hemlock, it's really going to mess you up if it doesn't kill you. At this point, I let Shaston take over on the foraging because I wanted to start fishing. Yeah, hold on a second. My head's cold. I'll be right back.
Anyway, back to my plants. While I was fishing, Shaston went around looking for some other plants, and she stumbled across some Western dock. So that's what we're going to talk about. Western dock can be eaten raw or cooked, which brings out its delicious lemony taste. It's a good source of vitamins A and C, and also a natural diuretic. It also contains oxalic acid. When consumed in excess, can cause urinary tract. It also contains oxalic acid. When consumed in excess, can cause urinary irritation and kidney stones, so don't consume in excess. Plants of the dock variety, mostly patience dock, were a staple during the Depression when other greens were hard to come by. This is one of my favorite forage plants thus far. It's delicious.
Sorry guys, I can't do the glasses anymore. Anyways, next thing we came across was common mallow. Common mallow is another interesting plant that you've probably seen growing around the edges of your lawn or garden, or maybe even in the cracks of your driveway. This plant is rich in vitamins A, B, C, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. The whole plant is edible, raw or cooked. The leaves are often used like spinach, or some people even like to make chips out of them. It can be made into an herbal tea or used as a thickened soup. A decoction of the roots can also be used as a substitute for egg whites to make meringue. This was also one of the original ingredients in marshmallows before they started using gelatin. Medicinally, this plant is used for its anti-inflammatory properties, its antiseptic properties, and as a cold and flu remedy. It's also a natural diuretic. An extract is used by certain companies to make lozenges and cough syrup. This plant just has a bunch of medicinal uses, and I highly recommend you look into them. Over by the dock, I found some cattails, and I dropped one on the ground, and this happened. Suddenly, Shaston was transformed into a child, and this happened.
Oh my gosh, it's just gonna like...
I dropped it and it blew up.
Wow. What do you do with that?
Now, I don't mean to brag, but at this point, I was doing pretty awesome fishing. I already caught 2 trout. That's when Shaston found this. This plant is called Birdside Speedwell. A Birdside Speedwell is a plant that's loaded with vitamin C. It's got a slightly bitter taste but goes decently in salads. It's got a mild sedative like the common yarrow and has also been used as a treatment for coughs and colds and is a natural expectorant. This plant is used to treat skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis. Okay, so this last one kind of blew my mind when I did the research. Most people know that dandelions are edible. If you don't, dandelions are edible. What I didn't know was how edible or how nutritious they are. They're loaded with vitamins A, B, C, K, calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc. The whole plant is edible. The roots can be used as a coffee substitute or they can be cooked like carrots. The leaves can be eaten raw in a salad or cooked, and the petals can be used in baking. They make a good sweetener. Some people like to put them in bread. Depending on the plant, the leaves can be pretty bitter, but most of them were pretty mild. Medicinally, they can be used for liver support, and in animal studies, they were shown to reduce liver fat. They also have anti-inflammatory properties and are believed to be able to balance blood sugar and lower cholesterol. These are just a few of the medicinal uses. It's a long list. It's worth looking into if you're interested. Overall, this last trip was a success for us, and I had a good time teaching my daughter a little bit about the plants that we were looking at. If you've never been foraging before, I recommend learning a little bit about the plants that are around you and spending some time looking at them. Alright guys, before I wrap this up, I just need to tell you that none of what I've said here is medical advice. You need to talk to your doctor before starting any herbal regimen, and it's your job to know safe foraging practices.
Baby, are you helping? No. Just being a stinker. Are you gonna try my salad?
Yeah.
You're gonna try? Oh, good. Well, she said she was gonna try it. I didn't think she meant right now. Is it yummy?
No.
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 Yum?
No.
Annalise, what do you think of the fishes? Did you touch it?
Yeah. But I only touched one. No.
What did it feel like?
No. It didn't feel spongy. And it feels soft and slippery.
Yeah.
And it made my hands even colder.